I think that making your own games should be fun. I think that your side projects should be good for you. I think that they should be an outlet for things that maybe you're not getting in other areas of life. Yes, there absolutely games can be made as a product. That's a valid thing. We don't have to explain that case. There's different reasons to make games that occasionally get overlooked because they can be at odds with making games commercially. For a lot of other people that I've worked with over the years and thousands of hours, privately training people and making their own games, I've often seen a very real effect of when something else in their life seems to be spinning out of control. Sometimes it's a relationship, sometimes it's their work situation, sometimes it's school, sometimes it's stuff going on with their kids. Different things in life that we just feel like are beyond us or overwhelming to us. What can be nice about having our own projects, our personal projects, our side projects, which again, no implication or it's commercial at all, is that we feel some control when we come back to it. Here is a thing that I can do what I want to do to it the way I think it ought to be done. Maybe my day job doesn't give me that kind of control. Maybe the other obligations, duties, and responsibilities I have going on in my life don't give me that kind of freedom and flexibility. But when it's your project, you can do what you want to it and what a difference that makes. And it's part of why we've gone out of our way to shape now DevPods, formerly what was Home Team, so that people can very much pick the tasks that are the kind of thing they feel like doing on whatever games they feel like doing it on. That so much of the friction in a professional environment is being told what to do, how to do it, what you don't get to do, as opposed to what do you feel like doing? To give you that control, to give you that agency, so that you can look at a thing you want to find out how to do, you can learn how to do it, you can apply it and do it, and it's done. And it reaffirms our sense of self-efficacy. It reaffirms our sense of groundedness. It's even got a little bit of an element where part of what I liked about playing games as a kid, and I still get a little bit of this as a grown-up still playing games, is how much when I'm so having to focus on the current context, to dodge, to aim, to complete the upgrade tree, whatever, it ties up enough in my brain that it frees me from some of the overwhelming worries. Just life, reality, complexity, politics and family stuff and job stuff and whatever else, school stuff, all those things were just off my mind while I was playing those games. There's an element to which there's a version of that I have found as I've gotten older comes from making games, right? On the development side, there's more parts of our brain than just the part that we use to dodge, to pay attention to upgrade trees, that gets caught in that instant of flow and reaction and immersion and fiction, which is all valid and good. There's other parts, though, that when really kind of wrap my mind around solving programming puzzles, when I'm trying to learn and understand from a video how to do a new technique in Blender for myself to make models in a certain kind of shape, it ties up so much of our thoughts that while we're doing it, we have no choice but to be the only thing on our mind. And how, again, it can be this relief from the difficulties outside of us in a way that is just maybe not what's going to result in the ultimate sellable product for a business, but it's part of why it's so important, so valuable. And if it's not games, I know not everyone watching this video maybe makes games, and a lot of you will probably do. If it's not just games, whatever your thing is, if it's making music, if it's writing stories, of course, you could do this for games too, but it is so helpful to have an outlet that can be where you can express, where you can tie up your thoughts, where you can give yourself a break, where you can be doing it in a way that's good for you, that's helping your state of mind. I think so it comes back to this difference of when we're doing it for other people, it can drain our battery, even if we're doing the same fundamental thing, writing code, drawing pictures, as what might be our job or getting paid to do it for somebody else. When we do it for ourselves, when we do it for our reasons, our way, the way we think it ought to be done, to the level that we're comfortable doing it at, it can fill our battery up instead of draining it. It's a way to kind of let myself be grounded in the satisfaction of putting it together, seeing it come together. It's a little bit like making things out of Legos. It's like making a puzzle. But obviously, it's, again, at a much more interesting, nuanced, complex thing that part of what's great about game development and why I like it as an area is the combination of all the different rabbit holes are so deep, right? You could spend the whole rest of your life trying to get better at composing and still not be the world's best composer. Same is true for programming. Same is true for art. Same is true for writing. Same is true for level design. Any one of those things, you can just continually keep moving your challenge level to keep up with what you need to tie up your attention, to keep you at the edge of that learning. That's that satisfaction of learning new things. You're never going to run out with game development. The other thing that's really great about, again, the hobby, the freeware, the enrichment, the personal side projects, the non-commercial stuff that we do, again, to go back to the discussion Tim and I had, in the commercial context, you very much have to be pigeonholed into like, you're here because you're a programmer, you're not getting to make art. You're here because you're an artist, you're not getting to do programming. In our hobby projects, in our freeware projects, the kind of stuff we're doing in DevPods, the kind of stuff we did the past 10 years in Home Team, because our teams are smaller and more ad hoc and more ragtag, you kind of have to get outside your lane. And it invites us to have the humbling experience of doing the things that are new to us, that are outside of what we have any sort of training, background, any sort of footing in. And it kind of reminds us back to this kind of mentality of just taking on new skills and appreciation of other people's strengths, a feeling of doing something that is larger and bigger than what we could do alone. And I think there's no better feeling than when you're kind of struggling in an area of a project that you're doing in a collaborative environment, having a hard time making the art because it's not your strength. Someone else comes in who has great art strengths. They make it do impressive stuff. And just, it's like when you're playing a co-op game and you're really struggling against the boss or some part of the game. And then, I don't know, when I was a kid, my older brother would join or something. He'd help beat him up for me. That kind of experience in game development, ability to have each other's backs, our ability to be that person for others. Where you see some artist, some musician, some sound person who's making really great stuff, having a hard time getting their thing to work they want it to, when you can hop in there and splash some of the skill you have. I'm sort of assuming some of you all programmers, because certainly it's my background and talked about a lot over the years. It feels good to be someone who can kind of show up for others and have their back, you know. And again, it's like these MMOs or something where you've level grinded your character to a certain level, you've got all this great inventory, you've got all this strength, you don't want to waste it. It's nice to kind of be able to go occasionally in little ways, maybe not quite save the day, but really help boost people's morale by joining their projects, making a meaningful contribution that helps them rediscover their excitement, helps them not give up, helps them see that their vision is coming together, they can feel good about it. Anyway, just reflecting today again about the different reasons why we make games that are maybe non-commercial in some cases, that it's still good for us. That I think if you're not having fun making games, if you're not making games in a way that feels good and is good for you, to reconsider, is that the way you want to be making games? And if you want to get on track with making games that you feel good about, that is good for you, that is the way you want to do it, that'll get released on time, that'll have you credited properly, of teammates who are supportive, of people who show up for each other, I hope you'll join us in devpods.gg. Oh, just to throw out there in case you catch this video soon enough, just like that 10-year podcast, that discussion Tim and I had, make sure you use promo code podcast10year. That'll get you, I think, 2 months for the price of one, something like that. We can check it out in addition to the 30 money back guarantee, all kind of stuff. But hop in there, check it out. Look forward to making games with you, seeing what you're going to do in our communities, building games with others that are good for you, feel good about, exercising the skills that interest you the way you want to, with collaborative, supportive people around you. Thanks for hearing me out today. Thanks for hanging out a little bit. I know it's been a while since I've been doing videos, trying to get back into the rhythm here. I think just kind of talking to this helped kind of remind me too of part of why I make these videos is a bit like why I make games and why people I work with make games. It helps me too to talk about this stuff, and I want to thank you again for listening because it takes two of us here. Anyway, that's it for now. Catch you on another day. Bye for now.